The Diablo 4 Season 9 PTR is ending. We're going to be taking a look at the new Horadric Powers. These are very complex at the very first sight of them, but once you start to mess around with them, they kind of make a lot more sense. To save you the trouble, we're going to go over all of it right now. This is going to be comprised of 3 different components. You're going to have your infusions here. You're also going to have 3 Arcana, and then you're going to have your Catalyst. The Catalyst is what is going to show up on the screen. It's going to be big, it's going to be flashy. Your infusions are going to be the damage type that your Catalyst is going to do, and then your Arcana is going to boost your Catalyst. So you're going to have 5 different types of Catalysts here. Each one of them is going to do something slightly different. Now, what's really cool about this is for your Arcana here, if you have the legendary ones, which you'll get as you slowly progress through the storyline, you're going to be able to change around what they do based on the catalyst that you use. So if you look right here, at the very bottom, the second half, the Oracular Rune from the Celestial Surge executes non-boss enemies. Successful executions reduce the cooldown by 2 seconds. So what that means is that when I have the Celestial Surge equipped, now this is going to reduce cooldowns by 2 seconds every time that it casts. This has an 11.2 second cast time. If I was to change this out here, and let's say that I put on Propulsion, now I look back here, Mana Blast from Propulsion executes non-boss enemies. Successful executions are going to reset it. So because I have swapped around my Catalyst, it's going to now change the way that my Arcana works. That only works with Legendary, so you're going to be able to meet different conditions based on which Legendary that you put in. There's a couple really fun combinations out there. We're going to wait to see when we get the final patch notes. The patch notes that you all saw were not the Season 9 patch notes. It was the Season 9 PTR patch notes. They're all subject to change. We'll get to see exactly what that looks like when we get the next campfire chat. You're going to have your 3 different types of Arcana. You're going to have your magic ones, your rare, and then your legendary. Each one of them is going to get increasing abilities that's going to give you. You have your basic ones all the way down here, but some of them are actually very strong. You get things like Unstoppable or things like increased resource generation. Some of them can be very good, including your rare ones, which are going to give you vulnerable damage. Now you can take something that was on your character that would give you vulnerable damage, take it off, and you can put this on. There's a lot of different fun combinations, and I cannot wait to see what everybody does out there. Now, if you look right here, this is going to be slotted in many different slots. Now, what do the slots mean? If you look right here, Propulsion matches my Hammer of the Ancients. If I was to move Propulsion to the next slot, it now is highlighted around the Lunging Strike in purple. I move it over one more, now my Wrath of the Berserker is highlighted in purple. That means that every time that I cast Wrath of the Berserker, I will now gain Propulsion. Depending on how you want to run this, there's actually different ways, and some of them have conditions that if it's on an ultimate skill, you gain additional buffs. So you're going to be able to pick how you want to move this around, and then what ability you're going to use the most or use the least in order to cast this. So let's say you have a long cooldown time on your ultimate skill, and you want to make sure that you keep your cosmic anomalies up as much as you possibly can, because they're gone once you use an ability that casts this. The active command right here is what's going to be how you actually cast this. So if we were to put this on here in the slot of my ultimate skill, and then I had a really long cooldown, now I would actually gain the ability of having 5 anomalies up. I would become unstoppable all the time. And then every now and then I would cast this, it would do some damage, and then I would have to regrow the anomaly, which you can see right here are actually growing around me right now. So it's a really cool way to kind of customize your character and figure out how you want to play it. There's no one size fits all yet. We'll have to see what happens when the servers go live. The other thing that we're going to talk about is going to be the new jewels that we're going to be getting. These are going to be very familiar to anybody that played in Season 7. Some of them feel very similar to the way that the occult gems worked. These are also going to buff not just your catalyst, but also your infusion. So depending on how the wording works, you're either going to be buffing your catalyst here, or you're going to be buffing your infusion. Now, this is the only source of actual damage that you're going to get out of the new powers. There's a couple of them that are going to give you things like primary stats, which are really great. You always want to have primary stats, and you always want to have max life, so this is really great. And unhindered. Everybody absolutely loved having this when we were playing in Season 7, so it's back now. we're going to be able to get things like 20% more elemental damage, but then you're going to take 10% more damage. You get to pick whichever one you want to run. Hitting the elemental damage sometimes is a little bit tough on some classes. If I'm running the Ugly Bastard Helmet, then I can get fire damage, so then I can match that. But right now, on every single class, it's not possible, so we'll have to see exactly how that goes. The only other one that we're going to be having is we're going to be running Tyrant's Bane. This right here is going to help all the dot builds out there. Now, the only problem with this is that it's a very, very small amount. Now, having one of these jewels on is actually going to spawn some of these Jewel Guardians, so make sure that you pay attention, because if you're inside the training grounds and you're doing something like this here, the Jewel Guardians, and it comes right from having this one equipped. However, you will be haunted in Sanctuary's darkest places by the Jewel Guardians who were entombed to protect this relic. Now, this is actually really, really great for when you're running inside of the pits. It gives you extra monsters to attack, and they do move your progress bar. This is one that I'm going to be always running all the time because those extra elites make a very big difference. Boss fights, all of it. So this is a great option for you if you wanted to put this on. So back to your Tyrant's Bane. This is going to be a stacking debuff that's going to give you 0.33% more X multiplicative damage or damage over time whenever you do damage to an enemy. Now, when you're out in the open world, it doesn't really stack up too many times because everything dies so quickly. You're really going to see this inside the pits, whatever level you're pushing, but outside of that, those are really the only damage sources that we're going to be getting from the powers. All of the power is going to be coming from your characters. So there is no official launch date for Season 9. I know that the Reliquary does end on July 1st. That does not mean that they can't push the date back. So make sure that you go into this knowing that everything can change. That's your basic overview of the new Horadric powers coming in Season 9. I will be on a Barbarian starting off the season, so if you guys want to tune in and see what it's like to level up, I'm going to have another video coming out with a complete breakdown of everything that I got to test on the PTR. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on it. There was a lot of stuff that we got to test, and a lot of cool stuff, and a lot of stuff that we'll get to see if they make some adjustments to it, which I really think that we're going to see quite a bit of adjustments. Hopefully you found this useful. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I'm live every night. I'd love it if you stopped by, said hi, theory crafted with me. Catch you on the clip side.